The women came out yesterday, last night, and put in work. That game was kind of sloppy the first quarter, both ways a little bit. There was
a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, it was a sloppy first. Actually, probably
It was
quarter and a half.
It was a sloppy first 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Jazz Shelley was like, "Oh
my God!
I remember how to shoot the basketball from when I was in Maryland."
Yes,
and kind of took over. I believe it was 24-10 at the end of the first quarter, and they just kind of piled on from there.
Did she make the bomb at the end of the first quarter?
Going from first to second, half court heave.
My stats are not coming up. You got the stats. My stats are not coming up for the women's games last night.
She had
31. She was 1
31.
off of her career high and 2 threes off of her career high, which is also the school record.
And then I believe Markowski had a double-double.
Mm-hmm.
She did not.
Oh, she did not?
Nope. She had 6 points and 12 rebounds.
12 rebounds. Okay, so
she was the only Husker with double digits in another statistic that wasn't scoring.
Okay, that's nice. I need to read better. Come on, Chris. You're better at this.
Yeah, 6 and 12, 9 defensive, 3 offensive. And Ani Stewart got the start and played really well.
Yeah, she did.
She finished with not 21 points. She finished with 10 points and 6 rebounds, 3 offensive. They were hitting the offensive glass hard. Wisconsin was kind of coming up with those, those little tip ones that end up bouncing around on the floor for a little bit. Wisconsin was coming up with a decent amount of those, or the long rebounds where the shooter kind of comes back in and grabs it after it goes past some people who are boxing out. Got a couple of those, but they really couldn't make much of them. They were trying to go inside to their, I think she's a freshman, Sarah. Oh, what's her last name? Give me a second while I find this.
For the Nebraska women?
For Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Sarah Williams. I think she's a freshman. She's their big inside, and she is talented. She is going to be a problem,
and she's young, very young.
She's going to be a problem in a couple of years. Unfortunately, Wisconsin's not that.
Who does Nebraska got next?
No, I'm glad you brought that up. They got Samford on Saturday, and Samford's only 4-7. But you know what? Wisconsin was 3 and something last night.
3 and 7.
So these teams,
it's a get right game.
Yeah, and they got it. They have a good stretch because Nebraska had a heck of a run. Some tough games leading up to this Wisconsin game. Obviously, they beat Maryland last week.
Patched together a couple wins now.
Yes. So you got Samford on the
Wisconsin game, or that Maryland game was massive. First time they've ever beat Maryland.
Ever. Then you got Wyoming on the 18th, and Wyoming is 5-3, but that's also at the Vault, and that is December 18th.
They have like a little break in between Samford and Wyoming, I believe.
Yes, there's 8 days. Week. Yep. So they got a break between Saturday and next Sunday, basically. But then on the 21st, it gets real again. So they got Kansas. Kansas is 7-0. 7-0, first in the Big 12. That game is on the 21st, and on the 28th, Michigan.
Yep, Big 10 play.
9-0. Yes,
Big 10 play.
Yes, then on January 1st, it's at Indiana. Indiana 7-3. I'm sorry, they're 9-0 as well. They're 9-0. So you figure those next, it's gonna be a grind. They're in the gauntlet right now, just like the men. They are in the gauntlet right now. And so hopefully they can get another, and I'm not saying tune-up because no team's a tune-up, but you look at statistically, this game should be over by middle third quarter, if not earlier, as far as that goes.
Yeah. I mean, they only had 8 bodies available for this game because they're dealing with some injuries to some players. So they had 8 bodies available, all 8 played, all 8 contributed. All but 2 Huskers made a 3. All the Huskers attempted a 3. All but 2 made a 3.
That's a good balance right there, to balance it out like that. So the women, congrats to the ladies on that win last night. They took care of business at home in the Vault. I'm sure there was a lot of people in the Vault that also had were checking on Twitter. Maybe had some earbuds on. I'm sure they were giving updates on the big box on the men's team.
They were not.
They were. Rico's like, no, bro, you're on your own.
We don't talk about men's basketball.
I'm scrolling through Twitter as I'm tweeting my stuff out and watching the game, and I'm seeing the stuff from the men, and I go, yeah, they're not saying anything in this arena.
They want to keep good mojo going on inside there, right?
Like, hey, the men have pulled within 8, and it's gone. The thing about that game last night, okay, the Nebraska men obviously lost number 14, Indiana, 81-65, and I seen a tweet, and I sent it to Raph. Every week we all seen it. I sent it to Nick and Raph that there was word that Sam Jeezy, Giesel was not going to play.
He was sick.
And they said he was even shooting around, but the decision was made about an hour before game tip-off.
They sent him back to the hotel.
What do you think it was, man? Flu bug?
Flu, probably.
It's going around.
All that celebrating the Creighton victory.
Yeah. Well, now you hope that on the flight home he was kind of isolated, so that stuff started to spread either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That game, thoughts on that game, fellow? You were at the women's game, though. So
yeah, I didn't get to watch. I was following along on Twitter. I haven't seen any highlights, but from what I can tell, it was a game of runs.
Yes, on both sides.
Yeah, it seemed as if Nebraska would go on a run. They started the second half on a 6-0 run to pull within single digits, and then Indiana answered with like an 11-0 run and multiple 11-0 runs, triple-double by Trace Jackson-Davis, and it just seemed as if Nebraska, when they would pull within, striking distance, Indiana would just flex their muscles, rip their shirt, and kind of push Nebraska away.
I look at it two ways. When you heard that Sam was going to be out for the game, it was a punch in the gut because he is, for my money, he's the leader of the team. So it's a punch in the gut. Well, then the game begins, and it's another punch in the gut because Indiana comes out and they're firing on all cylinders, and it looks like Nebraska's going to get blown out of the gym. Well, Nebraska overcomes that wave. And is able to, to put something together there. Was it early in the second half when they cut it to 8, I believe?
I think so.
Yeah.
And that they did that.
I think they did that twice, I think.
Yeah,
actually.
that earned that for me, that showed me like, okay, this is a scrappy bunch here playing without their floor general, and they're able to overcome, in Indiana, it just came off a pretty rough loss against Rutgers. So you weren't playing like a happy-go-lucky Indiana team. You're playing a team that was
pissed off.
That was wanting to get back in the winning column. So I look at it as, it stinks that we lost. I mean, I was going to move us up to a number 3 seed after we won last night.
Down to a 7.
And so, I have to lower them now on my seating. But I think you take it as a positive, and now you hope that Sam being sick doesn't, like you said, spread throughout the team. Hopefully that you're able to contain it, get everybody healthy, and then come out on Saturday at 1:15 and take on the number 4 team in the country, the Purdue Boilermakers.
Look, Nebraska was struggling with Trace Jackson-Davis. I hope I'm wrong, but I can only imagine the amount of points and rebounds Zach Edey is about to put up.
Dude, he's a monster.
He's a big boy.
He is a monster.
Boy.
He's more than likely going to be the Big Ten Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Trace Jackson-Davis has a say in it.
But like they were
triple-double last night.
I believe it was DP last night. DP said, let Zach Edey get his. If he gets his 25 and 12,
he's going to get his.
But where the trouble will happen is if there's 2 other guys that have 17. So So that's what Nebraska's got to look at it is like, hey, he's a great player. Like you said, probably Big Ten Player of the Year. He's going to get his, but don't let him get too crazy, and don't let his teammates get in on the action.
Yeah, he doesn't need any partners in crime on this deal.
And another thing too is, hopefully, that this game last night doesn't take away from the enthusiasm of the Nebraska crowd, and they show up, on Saturday, which I have no doubt that they will show up on Saturday and get that place rocking, and see what happens.
Don't let one game cost you 2.
No,
yeah, exactly.
And I don't think that game really should. Just the fact that it hurt when you're missing, one of your top players. That's tough to recover, and to be your point guard of all things, because
that's your floor.
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure who the point guard was going to be.
Chomanaga's not a point guard.
When they said Bandamel was going to be the starting point guard, I was like, really? Which it's cool. I mean, I think the world of his game, but I just don't see him as a point guard.
No. I think it shows too, though, the importance of recruiting. We bring in the basketball. You got to have more than just one point guard. Someone who can come in and spell Sam Griesel.
I don't want to be that guy.
Well, he's on the bench,
but I'm going to be that guy. You have a 6'6" freshman who's played in front of crowds.
I don't understand why he redshirted.
What you played against last night.
But I don't understand why he redshirted, though, bro.
I don't either.
I have no idea, because to me, you let him play right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's almost like you're
which is crazy about
it's like you're holding chips in Vegas.
Yeah, and not using them.
Not using them, but you're leaving in the next hour. And I'm not saying Horbury's leaving, but you know what I'm saying? When your back's against the wall, man, you better put it all out there.
That's the guy. Like he's your other point guard. The other guys aren't point guards.
They're not. It makes me think that there must be something more to it, because I mean, you got to think that Fred is coaching for his job. Every year I guess you're coaching for your job.
Why wouldn't you?
So why wouldn't you use all your bullets in your holster?
I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's just so strange, because you have a guy you recruited. He was highly rated,
highly
sought after.
Yep.
He played with the likes of Bronny James and
Pull the red shirt.
all those other guys that played
him.
at that school. He's played at the crypto.com arena. He's played against guys better than the people he was playing against.
Exactly.
You guys were playing against last night, and you're down a point guard. You could burn. I'm sure I don't know if he's there. I'm sure you have his jersey there.
How does college basketball work?
If you play a game,
it's
one game and you're done.
It's a wrap.
So you don't get the college
which
football
is crazy
special.
In that there's way more. There's double, well, if not triple more games in college basketball.
Yeah.
Yet if you play one game, red shirt's done. That's you got 12 games in college football.
You play 4.
You play 4. Play a third of the season. We'll see what happens.
Play when you're 28 years old. We don't care.
You're not talking about Georgia, are you?
No.
Did you? Okay, I'm not gonna. I'll go because I get distracted. AD means attention deficit. Squirrel. I'll start talking about something. But it is. Enrico, I'm glad you bring that up because last night I'm thinking, why wouldn't you play this dude? I just don't get it. Maybe like I said, because you know what? On the flip side, there's gonna be something we don't know. So always give the benefit of the doubt because it could be a number of things we just don't know about. Yeah. However, it just shows you, that how important that Sam Griesel is to the team because there was an energy and there was a lostness at times on offense. I don't know if you noticed that. They just seemed disconnected. There was no flow, and then they would get in those flow states. And I will say this on the positive side, though, they showed some dog in them.
Yep.
Because now, granted, he still lost. I mean, there ain't no moral victories, and I don't get into that stuff.
Nope.
What I am seeing is some progress, though, in that that team last year. They'd have lost that sucker by about 40.
It'd have been.
They lost by about 40.
It would have been gross. I mean, you look at this, the first half, second half discrepancies. Like they were down 13 at halftime, 39-26 in the first half. You look at the second half.
They got down at 22 at one time.
42-39. That was the scoring in the second half.
Yes. Yeah, I will not lie. When that first game started last night, I was like, "Oh, here we go, boy,
not great."
And here we go. That they were able to, bounce back in some way, form or fashion. That was impressive to me. So
I'll read these stats real quick. Field goals, team stats. We shot 43%. Indiana shot 53%. Here's one of the key things. 3-point range. They shot 6. We shot 6 for 23 for 26%. They were 11 for 25 for 44%.
That'll do it.
And it'll do it. And you know what, Cubster, you're right on the text line. They did hold Trace to only 12 points, which was, within itself shows you the defense. Because
you held him to 12 points. He only took 6 shots.
Yeah, it's true, but that guy is capable of scoring 35.
Exactly. I mean, he got a triple double.
Yeah, he wasn't third person in Indiana history.
He wasn't trying to score. He took 6 shots.
The one he grabbed the rebound with one hand, though.
That was awesome.
Chief, that was some Wilt Chamberlain type stuff right there.
He got the dunk to end the first half.
Yeah,
they had a number of dunks. Sloppy turnover. Honestly, if Trace wanted to, in this one, he probably could have put up 20. Yeah. But he was deferring. He was dishing the ball out, 10 assists. He was grabbing boards and just letting it go. Yeah.
That's what Ice Cube said, dude, didn't he? Mess around, got a triple-double.
3 steals, 3 steals and 3 blocks. Like, he was doing everything. Yeah. He was like, I don't need to score.
Oh, Fred, not Hoiberg. So did Griesel get the bird flu from those dirty, stinking Blue Jays?
Probably.
Looks like it.
Oh, man, I'm not sure. Pecan 593 says Animal House is the top 5 all-time movie, fellas. Yes, you know what? I've never seen Animal House in entirety. I got to be honest. I've never seen the entirety of it. Matt says more Sam Cooke. We're going to definitely try to throw some more Sam Cooke in there. And get something in there. Thomas Lincoln says, AD will look at Rico and go, hey, boo-boo, what's going over there? Rico! Well, the next segment I wanted to dive into, because there's a lot of people out there who are assuming things on the transfer portal. I see people on Twitter, some of the so-called self-proclaimed experts. Y'all know who I'm talking about. There's a few of them out there, and I'm not even going to give their names on air to check out the stupidity.
AD's just throwing out names.
Yeah, go follow this person.
All right, here's one that you should probably not listen to.
There's one.
This one's down. This one's down. You're all dumb.
Yeah, there's one that just.
But you follow Chris Raff 7 on Twitter. That guy is wise beyond his years.
Unfollow him on Sundays, though.
Yeah, I've really cut down on the Bronco post.